This video is brought to you by, well, you know who this video is brought to you by. Get your free Robinhood stock by using the link in the description below. Do the gains ever stop? It's just too easy in the market. Up over 11% in a single day and another 8.5 on E-Trade. Man, this is like shooting fish in a barrel. This is a company I own 500 shares of. Truth be told, I don't even know what they do, but it doesn't matter because we're still up 45% in a single day. Why have you not invested yet? That's the question you got to ask yourself, because this honestly is just too easy. What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, checking out the first revealed cards from the brand new Dragunity structure deck that just got revealed. This structure deck, of course, is coming out soon in the OCG. Still no ETA on this when it comes to the TCG, but if I was just to throw out a guess, I would say we're probably going to see this by the end of 2020. I'm thinking the winter months, maybe we'll, get this sometime in November or December. Now, don't quote me on that because you guys know 2020 has been a very strange year for Yu-Gi-Oh! And really for all companies around the world. We've had product releases that were delayed and, we've had things pushed back and stuff like that. But I don't think that there's any chance that this is going to get, canned like the Warrior structure deck. I think Konami's definitely going to give us this structure deck. Anyways, we got 3 cards to talk about. I've read all of them. They're very impressive. And to me, my first kind of gut reaction is Konami's aiming for Dragunity to be like a meta deck. They definitely want it to at least be able to be like strong and competitive again. Maybe, as it was back during the 5Ds or the Zexal eras. Anyways, let's go ahead and check out one of the boss monsters. This is Dragunity Armagram. It's a win attribute, level 10 dragon monster. Dragon was to be expected. 2900 attack, 2000 defense. Your first, second, and third effects on this card are all hard once per turn, but you can use all of them in the same turn. First effect is you can banish 2 dragon and or winged beast monsters from your graveyard. That's a cost. Special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. Second effect, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field, negate its effects, and if you do, it loses 1000 attack for each equipped card you control. Third effect, when an opponent's monster is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can equip it to this card. Okay, so my immediate knee-jerk reaction is this literally an effing dragon ruler? Because I'm pretty sure that they made a dragon ruler here. I mean, you look at the first effect of this card and it's nearly identical to Tempest, which by the way is the one legal dragon ruler, and of course the dragon ruler that just so happens to work with Dragunity. So yeah, they'll definitely be playing Tempest, but it's essentially like Konami just gave them another copy of Tempest. Now, the Dragunity archetype basically breaks down into winged beast monsters and dragons, so the entire Dragunity archetype works to fuel this card. Basically, if you have any of them in the graveyard, you can just summon this card freely from your hand or from the graveyard. Not only is this card a colossal beater, but it does have a little bit of negation. Now, I will admit, I wish that the negation was a quick play or a quick effect, but then I thought about it and I was like, man, if you had a dragon ruler that had a quick effect negation, would that be broken? Wouldn't this be defaultly the best dragon ruler in the game, even though it's not technically a dragon ruler? I think the effect negation is perfectly fine. If your opponent has some type of monster that, their effect is a little problematic, you can just go ahead, you get to negate that monster for free. Also, the whole losing 1000 attack, that is, just a little bit of icing on the cake. Now, if you don't have any equips, it's fine. Your opponent's monster's stat line stays the same. But if you do, maybe you can take their monster down 1000 or 2000 and just run it over. I do think that being able to get more equips onto this guy is also kind of nice. There's actually a spell card we'll talk about in a moment that gives you a little bit of a bonus for that. But we know that Dragunities like equipping stuff to themselves. They've always kind of done that, and honestly I think that this card is really good. The fact that it can be summoned from the graveyard so easily is pretty cool, and also there is actually some inherent synergy with Tempest, because you can even banish Tempest from the graveyard and then activate like Tempest's effect. Next up is another boss monster, although this time it is a tuner. This is Dragunity Knight, a red hair. It's another wind attribute level 10 dragon monster. This one obviously is a synchro. 3300 attack and 3200 defense. It requires a Dragunity tuner and then 1+ non-tuner monsters, and all 3 effects, just like the last card, are hard once per turn, but you can use them all on the same turn. First effect says, when an opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can banish 1 Dragunity monster from your graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, banish that monster. Second effect, if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle after damage calculation, you can banish that opponent's monster. Third effect, if this synchro summon card is destroyed by a card or by an opponent's card effect, you can destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls. Now see, this is what I'm talking about. This is how you make a good level 10 synchro monster for Dragunity. It wasn't that hard, Konami. All you had to do was put your mind to it and you could pump out a great card. I mean, Dragunity Ascalon, the one that came out of Extreme Force with all the other Dragunity Legacy support, it's not a terrible card, but like, let's be real, have you ever really seen people summon that card, you know, continuously throughout a duel? Not really. And believe me, I see tons, hundreds of duels every week. I don't really see people ever summon that card. This card will 100% like be summoned by Dragunity players. Number one, that monster effect negation is absolutely amazing. This card is basically Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon on crack. Not only do you get that excellent defensive effect of the monster negation, but it's even better than most monster negates in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's very similar to like Orchestrated Crescendo, and that, you know, by that I mean you get that banishing effect, which is pretty much the epitome of negation, when you negate your opponent's card and then you banish it, because against decks that want to use their graveyard, against things like Salamangrates, you get to permanently get rid of that monster and they can never really get it back unless they jump through a bunch of like awkward hoops. The second effect is also very underrated. I feel like that's kind of a forgotten aspect or a forgotten effect of Yu-Gi-Oh! When I think about monsters that when they run something over, they banish it, I go all the way back to like the original Dark Magician of Chaos from Invasion of Chaos, and it kind of feels like an effect Konami has just kind of forgotten about over time. I remember like when that was such a powerful thing, and that's good too. Run over your opponent's monster, same deal pretty much. You don't have to worry about it activating in the graveyard or them being able to get it back easily. And then the third effect is just icing on the cake. If your opponent happens to get rid of this card by some type of, you know, card effect, they happen to use monster destruction on it, you basically just get a Harpy's Feather Duster on your opponent. Now, you know, there's a chance that they could blow this card up and not have any spells and traps, but to be honest, I'd rather have the effect than like not have the effect. It just feels pretty good. Hell, even if your opponent uses something like a strike or they use their hard monster effect negation on this, it's cool. I just get the nuke, you know, your spells and traps anyway. So this is a solid card. I think Dragunity will play it. I don't know if they'll have to play multiples of it, but they'll definitely run at least one copy of it. And yeah, definitely a solid card overall. Anyways, the last card is a spell. This is Dragunity Glow. It's a normal spell card, and it says its first and second effects are hard once per turn. So basically this card is a hard once per turn. The first effect says add 1 level 5 or higher Dragunity monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Second effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 monster card in your spell and trap zone that is equipped to a Dragunity monster, special summon it, and defense mode. Okay, so this is a Rhoda for the archetype of Dragunity, so now you're not completely reliant on resolving Dragon's Ravine or actually, like, you know, having access to Dragon Ravine, because that was pretty much the only way Dragunity could constantly get the like ducks and stuff like that. Now this obviously doesn't search the low level monsters, however it does search, you know, it searches the new boss monster Armor Graham, it searches some of the other high-end Dragunity monsters, which maybe they'll still run. I'm not exactly sold on them running those cards. Who knows what the new build will look like, but I know they'll run Armor Graham if nothing else, probably like a couple of copies of that, so this can search him. And then this also gives you the ability to special summon your Dragunities that are equipped equipped to your, big Dragunities on field. Or if you took your opponent's monsters, because Armor Graham has that effect where if, your opponent, or if you run over one of your opponent's dudes, you get to get that monster and put it in your spell and trap zone as an equipped. You can just go ahead and special summon that monster as well. And, I'm not really going to hate on the fact that the monster is special summoned in defense mode, because it's pretty much just a free effect. You're banishing from the graveyard to get that effect, so how can I really complain about something that's just a free +1? Honestly, you can take your opponent's monster, maybe trade it trade it in for a link monster, use it for like a synchro summon. I'm pretty sure you'll find some ability, or you'll find some use for your opponent's monster. Hell, maybe it lives for a turn and you can put it in attack mode and start attacking with it. It's just, honestly, it's just a bonus effect, so I'm not going to complain about it. I don't know if Dragunity will run 3 of this card. It feels like probably not. If it searched any Dragunity monster, I feel like 100% they'd run 3 of it, but definitely could be a 2 of in the archetype. It just kind of feels like we'll have to see how many of the high-level monsters Dragunity are going to run. But honestly, I'm very impressed with this support so far. I want to see what else Konami has up their sleeve, but with these 3 cards, it looks like Dragunity are definitely on the right track. That was actually one of the things that I wanted from this deck. I said that I wanted better synchro monsters, better high-end synchro monsters, so Dragunity players don't always have to go for a bunch of generic level 8s. Like, let them stay within their archetype, give them a good, impressive level 10 or level 8 synchro monster, and that was one of the first things Konami did. So, whatever you guys think of these new Dragunity drive cards, you leave that in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.